on the news briefing for this Wednesday. We'll go ahead and get started with our topics today. We're going to start with housing and housing transitions in Pajaro in particular. As you may know, the county will be ending its non-congregate sheltering program at the end of July, and it's expected that many homes and facilities will be at repair status or nearing repair status at that time. However, the housing situation in Pajaro remains challenging, and we have Roxanne Wilson, our Homeless Services Director, here to talk about housing, the status of housing in Pajaro, and then this shelter transition. Hi, Roxanne.
Thank you so much, Maya. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me today. Yes, there are still 67 households that remained in the county's non-congregate shelter that was established in response to Pajaro, the Pajaro floods, excuse me. We do have 2 more recertification cycles, which will take us to the end of July. More than half of those folks who have been, more than half of those households that are staying inside of the non-congregate shelter have identified a place to relocate to. And in some cases, they're just waiting, right? So some of their landlords are still working on getting the repair is done. However, they do have anticipated move-in dates. For the remaining folks that remain inside of the shelter, we have 2 separate interventions. One is more targeted. Next week, we will have Housing Authority of the County of Monterey, the Coalition of Homeless Services Providers, and Central Coast Center for Independent Living at the site to process applications for people to access any of the housing vouchers that the Housing Authority has to offer. The second, we're still trying to identify a date, but we will be doing a more broader housing resource fair in the town of Pajaro. I do anticipate securing the date by the end of this week. So by next week, we should certainly have more information for media. And I think that's the end of my update.
Thanks very much, Roxanne. I know there may be people on right now who might have some questions. If you have any questions for Roxanne, go ahead and put them in chat and we will see what she can assist you with. And I'm not seeing anything in chat right now. Thank you very much, Roxanne, for filling us in on this. And we hope we'll publicize the date on the Housing Resource Fair as soon as we get it from you. And I do have a question for you. We've got a reporter from Lookout Santa Cruz. Hillary, do you have a question for Roxanne? Okay,
thank you so much.
Question, Roxanne. How many households would not have housing by the end of July?
At this point, it appears that there's approximately 30 households that we are still trying to identify a permanent housing solution for.
Thank you. Hillary, do you have a follow-up question for that?
I might just follow up with y'all at the later stage. Thank you.
All right, just want to be sure we caught all your questions. Thanks very much, Roxanne, for joining us today to give us that update. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great day.
Thank you. And now we're going to turn to our colleagues at FEMA. We have Tiana here, which is her last news briefing. So we're here to say not only to get the great information that you've always provided, but to thank you for participating these many weeks.
Yes, hi Maya, hi Nick. Thank you for having me on here. It's I've been here since January, so we have been working together for a long time. But I will be heading back home to Maryland on Friday. So anyway, to the news that you want to hear. So for Pajaro, which has now moved to the middle school, they have some different hours now. So those hours are now Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. They're closed Sunday and Monday. Other than that, we're still continuing to help survivors in Santa Cruz as well at the Ocean Street location. Their hours are still the same, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. They are closed on the weekends. So, drop by those disaster recovery centers. The deadline is approaching sooner than you think. So we want to get everybody at least registered with us and make sure that you have the resources that are available to you. I will drop in the chat the registration numbers and the amount of money approved as far as today. If there's any questions, just let me know.
Thank you, Tiana. Any questions for Tiana before we let her go? Begrudgingly, let her go.
Not a question, it's Patsy. Thank you to Tiana for staying on as long as you have, supporting Pajaro, and thank you for pronouncing Pajaro the correct way. It's much appreciated by the community and partners. Could you just remind everyone what the end date is for FEMA in those areas?
Sure, it's
Thank you.
July 20th. That is the application deadline. It had been
Perfect.
extended from the last time. So we're giving people more time, us, the state, the county, giving
Sure.
people more time to register and have time to, get their insurance together, whatever it is that has your application still going on in the process. So, take care of that time. Like I said before the deadline approaches, we would like to have more registrants, at least be in the system and they can get help after the deadline.
Great, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Tiana. And for those who did not know that voice, that was Patsy Gasca. She's our partner here in emergency services with the American Red Cross, and a wonderful partner that we have working on these emergencies. And now we also have with us Marielli Carty with SBA. She's got some information for us as well. Hi, Marielli.
Hello, how are you, Maya? Hi, Nick. Long time to see you. Okay, so let's talk quickly about SBA numbers so far. Okay, first of all, we still working with FEMA for the disaster recovery in Pajaro Middle School. The hours are Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The RC is closed Sunday and Mondays. Okay, so far, these are the numbers. We have received 1,202 FEMA referrals. We have received 40 home loans applications and 46 business loan applications. SBA have approved so far 2,500,020 and $300. Okay, and very important, as Ms. Patsy asked, our deadline to request assistance for physical damage is the 20th of July, and for economic injury is the January the 3rd next year. So that is very important to know and to remember. Para aquellos en español, I'm going to say the same information in Spanish. Okay, so hemos recibido 1,202 referidos de parte de FEMA. Hemos recibido 40 aplicaciones de hogares y 46 aplicaciones de negocios. Hemos aprobado $2,520,300 y es bien importante recordar la fecha límite para solicitar por daños físicos hasta el próximo 20 de julio del 2023 y para daños económicos el 3 de enero del 2024. Así que todavía estamos a tiempo. Any questions?
Any questions for Marielli before we let her go for the day? Thanks as usual, Marielli, for really keeping us updated on those SBA numbers.
Of course.
I am not seeing any questions for you. Thank you very much for joining us today and keeping us updated. Now we're going to move on to another topic. We're going to look at our job market and how that affects our economy. The job market in Monterey County is improving, including agricultural jobs that were impacted by recent flooding. Javier Vanga with our Workforce Development Board is here to give us a labor market snapshot. Hi, Javier.
Hi, thank you for inviting me. Can I share my screen?
Yes, please do.
Okay, sorry. And get over here. Okay, can you see the screen?
I'm seeing your double screen.
Great.
You might want to put it in view.
There you go.
Great.
All right. So thank you for inviting me. And one of the things that Maya mentioned was how we are doing through the recovery with agriculture. I'll talk about that in a second, but first I wanted to give you probably a little bit of what we do with the labor market information that comes to us from the EDD and also from a proprietary tool that we use to collect all our labor market information data. This report is on our website and at Monterey County, wdb.org under the labor market tab, and we publish it every month. We are, we try to run 12 a year, and I think we've done that this year, so we're pretty good about it. But we really try to focus on this on a couple of things. The labor market snapshot is not just for us, but it's also for our clients. We use it for, we refer our clients to the website. We also hand it out to them as to make sure they understand what's going on within our labor market. So I'm just going to go over it really quick with you, and then I'll pick up a little bit on farm in a few minutes. So our data includes all the unemployment data that EDD provides for us, and it shows the job and the unemployment rates. We talk about the labor force, which has been doing very well in the last year. So our increase in the labor force has been very good. Totally in the MSA, we added 7,300 jobs, 3.4% increase over last year, for a total of 221,800 employed, which is a really good number right now. So farm added an additional 9,200 seasonal job over last year, a total of 77,800. That number is one of the highest numbers of farm employment since 2000. I think we looked at all the way back to 2010 for the monthly number, which is really good. So let me click on here really fast. So, and then we go through the unemployment graphs and showing you, the trend for the last year or so. We talk a little bit about the unemployment rate for this state. This is really critical for our clients also to keep on top of what are the industry sectors that are growing in our community. And through the month of May, we've had some really good increases. As you can see, our major sectors all had an increase or no increase, which is really good sign, by the way, that's happening now. And like I said earlier, our labor force has increased dramatically in the last year. We also do the job ads. We have a tool that's available to us where we pick up the latest job ads for the county. We also include, the tri-county area. But as you can see, this really gives us an indicator of where the jobs really are by occupation. We talk a lot about sectors, but the real crux of all this is in the occupations themselves, because that's where the jobs are. So we run down the top 15, 20 every month, so to get a really good picture. We have an extensive list here that we share with our clients also. And then we actually look at the employers themselves, and it tells us who's hiring and locally. This is the top probably 15 or 20 that we pull up every month. This is real critical to our clients also, and that is, so what do you need to get a job? So we talk about the hard skills and the soft skills, and these are the number of ads that have the hard skill or the soft skills in them. And as you can see by this, a lot of it in the soft skills is really, really important today. So that's basically what we send out to our, that we publish and we send out to our clients. It's informative, but we also add reports every other month. We put a report that's going on locally on the workforce itself. Now, let me go back to farm for a few minutes. The farm employment from 2020 to 2023 has increased for the month of May by about 13,192, which is a 20% increase over May 28. I've done this by month because I really wanted to see the trend from January, February, March, April, and May. And in all instances, in those months, we've had a very good increase of 37 from 20% to 39% for each of those months in the number of people that have been employed. We had no negative numbers in that whole cycle. We've looked back to 2010 and we've seen, because we're so cyclical in this that, we try to look at the times and the seasonalities to really see, what's really happening. So we take 4-month clusters and take a look at those and see what the increases are. So we're very pleased from May, from January to May, we've had a very, very good increase every month in the job market for ag. March was actually 36% increase over March 2020. And in April, it was a 29% increase. And like I said earlier, in May, it was a 20% increase and that's during the weather. That's during all the events that we had between January and almost the end of March. So good news for ag. That number of 77,800 is huge. Again, we'll see once the harvest is done where we're at for our non-seasonal employment. And hopefully I can come back and talk about that in a few months when we go through this season. Any questions?
Thanks very much. That is just really, really very interesting information. So what this is telling us is that even at the worst of times where we were having these floods, other parts of the agriculture industry were still able to continue and were not as impacted. Correct. And for 2020, if you go back during the pandemic, we really did not have I don't think we had a month that we had a decrease in the previous year. So we're pretty steady through all the way through 2020 through today, actually, in the employment. Thank you very much, Javier. This is truly a fascinating look and really great news. We could use some good news, right? Absolutely. Right. Thank you. And we'd like to have you back when you have the non-seasonal data back so we can get that full view of this very important industry. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you. Now I'm going to tell you to stop sharing your screen. Got it. All right. Thank you, Javier, very much. And then last but certainly not least, I'm gonna kick Javier out here. There, I'm sorry. I did say I was going to put leave instead. We're going to turn to our friend Cindy Burnham with Hitchcock Road Animal Services. We're a couple of weeks away from 4th of July, and now is a really good time to start planning for your pets, even if you are fortunate enough to not have a pet that is completely unnerved by 4th of July. So Cindy's here to tell us more about that and what is happening at the shelter.
Hi, thank you for having me. Cindy Burnham, Hitchcock Road Animal Services. And I did want to share my screen because I think folks like looking at critters more than they do me. So let me share my screen here. There we go. Where'd you go? How far? All right. Do you see our sign, Hitchcock Road?
I do. Can you make it a little bit bigger?
Yeah, hold on one sec. There we go. There we go. Is that bigger?
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, well, if you don't know, Hitchcock Road Animal Services is out at 160 Hitchcock Road, and we do provide services for Monterey County and the city of Salinas. What I wanted to talk about today is 4th of July. So it is a couple weeks away. However, I think if you live in any city here on the peninsula, you know that the fireworks have already started. We're getting reports of them going off during the day, during the night. Typically it starts now through the 4th of July and actually doesn't end for a couple weeks. But the impact that has on animal shelters is that our pets, a lot of them are terrified of fireworks. And we can explain to them what they are. Usually July 5th and the week after is really where we see an increase up to about, it can be up to a 30% because it's not just on the day. We've actually tried being open on the day of 4th of July and it's pretty quiet. It's the following week. But this is not just a Monterey County phenomenon. This is shelters all over around 4th of July and actually New Year's Eve even. Fireworks terrify our pets. And so what I wanted to do today is go over just a few tips, let you know kind of what's happening at the shelter. And if you know anybody with pets, you have pets, please think about what you're doing for this holiday. I know we've got some staff here that have dogs that are terrified and they go drive out down towards the coast. They leave town, they hunker down in their house. So it's what you can do to manage your pets to keep them safe. So starting off with some safety tips is keep your pets secured in your home when the fireworks are going off. That can be hard now when you come home on what is today, Wednesday afternoon, and there's fireworks going off around bedtime. But being aware that they're happening now, and that if you have a pet that's terrified, you may have to manage that for the next couple weeks to keep your pet safe. Giving them a safe place to hide. An extra cat scratch, a kennel, a dark kennel where they can go to feel safe. Some pets will really hurt themselves trying to hide. So provide them a place they can go where they feel safe. Use ambient noise, music, white noise. I know I keep the TV on at home when I know that there's fireworks going off in my city, just so that there's other things for them to hear. Keep them busy. A lot of times the recommendation is exercise them the morning of, make sure they're tired, give them things to do, Kong toys, treats, have somebody, if you can't do it, come over and play with them. Keep them busy so that they're not focusing on just those loud booms. And a lot of the fireworks that scare our pets are those big loud ones that probably also scare us too, but just being aware of that. If you're at your wit's end and you have a pet that's really just unmanageable with fireworks, talk to your vet. There may be some things that you can give your pet to help calm them in those situations, to help bring down that anxiety level. What happens with a lot of pets is when they get so scared, they actually shut down and nothing you can do can reach them. They start shaking, they become terrified. You can call their name and they just don't respond. That's not them wanting to ignore you. They are just so terrified, their senses have shut down, which is really sad to see. So we are hoping that, talking about this now helps folks be prepared. And God forbid your pet should get out, make sure they have proper identification. Their tags are current with current phone numbers. There's nothing worse than calling a pet's phone number that's on their tag and it's the wrong person, or the person gave the dog away and they don't remember who. Updating microchips. If your pet does not have a microchip yet, now's the time to go get them. We return pretty much every cat that gets returned to their owner. It's only because they have a microchip. So microchips are very, very important. And the last thing I would say, and it's not on this list, is if you are going out of town and you have somebody pet sitting for you, please have the conversation with them about, should your pet get lost, what are they to do? We unfortunately had the sad story yesterday of somebody who left town. Her dog got out and her pet sitters didn't tell them for over a week, and she has no clue where her dog is. So have that conversation, let them know what to do in case your pet gets out, and also let them know that or have some permissions in place where it does get out that they can come reclaim your animal for you in your absence. Those are all very good tips, and something that we find the pet sitter issue actually happens more than you would think. So make sure you know who's watching your pets. Should your pet get out, we do have a texting program where if you text the single word 831 lost or the single word 831 found to the phone number on the screen, you will get links to our shelter, our lost report, our found report, links to other local shelters, including the SPCA for Monterey County and up into Santa Cruz, because we know pets travel. And also some tips to some really great videos on what to do should your pets get lost, because cats and dogs act differently when they're lost. Dogs tend to wander, cats usually hunker down and stay pretty close. And then just a reminder, dogs are not permitted to run loose in Monterey County. So part of that is keeping your pet confined over the holiday, is making sure that they are on your property, because they are not allowed to run loose. And also a reminder for licensing requirements, all dogs over the age of 4 months are required to be licensed and vaccinated, and we can help you take care of that on our website. And that's all I have. Should you have any questions, there is my contact information, and I will stop sharing.
Thank you, Cindy. Great information. Anyone have any questions for Cindy? And Cindy, I can attest to your comments about dogs trying to hurt themselves, getting into any place to hide, because I have a medium-sized dog who managed to get themselves into a small space, and there was some significant construction work trying to get out of the dog out of a small space.
Yeah,
during
they really shut down, and they'll hurt themselves. We've had reports of dogs going through sliding glass doors, through screens. And we can't explain to them, it's just a loud sound, you're going to be okay. So we have to do what we can to manage. I just wanted to add one thing. We're currently at 88% capacity for dogs, 52% for cats. We are actually having an adoption special starting Sunday for the following week. $50 dog adoptions and $20 cat adoptions, because we are trying to get some of these adoptable animals out of here, knowing that our intake is probably going to go up over the next week. And we are continuing to reduce fees for owners that come to reclaim their pets. So we will work with you. So please come and get your pets.
And I think you have an event on Saturday you might want to share. Do you have a pups on the patio?
Pups on the patio. We've been partnering with some of the Salinas Starbucks, I believe at Constitution, and we were going to have multiple of our foster dogs there with their foster families, who were there to kind of meet people, probably drink a cappuccino, and just kind of showcase that we've got these great dogs that are not only in the shelter, but some of them are in foster care homes and living with families who can tell you all about them.
Thank you, Cindy. And if we have no questions right now, but any additional questions, we'll forward them to you. Thanks very much for sharing really, really important information.
Thank you.
And thanks everyone for joining us on the news briefing today. Our next briefing is next week. We'll see you then.